right. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Environmental Podcast.
Yes, this is our podcast where we investigate different aspects of sustainability. We choose a topic every month and we dive deep into it.
Yes, we do. This month have been talking about sourcing
Dun, dun,
all
dun.
month long. And we learned a lot.
Learned so much. I'm
Yeah.
really grateful, actually, for this month because it
Yes.
makes me really excited and hopeful.
Honestly, yeah, it has been a really, really incredible process of kind of diving into this industry as as a whole,
Yep.
and realizing that that there are so many resources out there, and there's a pretty incredible networks. So
Absolutely. Yeah, in the beginning, we had thought, oh, it's not possible. It's really difficult for a new brand owner. And it is really difficult for a new brand owner. But what I think we've realized this month is that it isn't really difficult for a new brand owner here because the resources don't exist, but rather because they're just difficult to find. So that's cool and
yeah,
inspiring.
yeah, because right, we had tried to kind of find some at the beginning, and we had certainly heard that same sentiment, that it's just really hard to find reputable
Mm-hmm.
sources, where to find raw ingredients, where to find even what certifications and what does that mean. um
Yeah.
and honestly, the main connecting theme between all of those is just that their websites are hard to find.
Yeah. They don't do really great SEO.
Right.
They don't they're in a network of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and not for the new user, which is something. I don't know. We're branding people, we're marketing people, so it's like, don't do that. Make sure that somebody that has no idea who you are can find you, but that's not second nature to everyone.
Yeah.
So
Easier
that
said
is
than done for some. For
yeah.
sure.
Also, to note that a lot of the like networks and parts of the networks and websites and all this stuff, they're old.
Mm-hmm.
They're from, these industry this industry is as old as it gets. And like for somebody to have started their sourcing nonprofit or whatever in, I don't know, 1950 or 1970, and then they like
Mm-hmm.
make a website when it comes and then they just haven't updated it for 15 years, or even if you haven't updated your website in 3 years, like it's so fucking outdated.
It's outdated. Exactly. Yeah.
So
Yeah, the internet moves fast, and these
yeah,
big industries just don't. And that's
right,
okay. That's the way it is. But yeah,
right.
that's what the crux of the issue, when a small business owner or someone who wants to start a small business and actually create their
Hmm.
own product, that's the issue that they're facing, is that, like,
Yeah,
how do you even find it? And it's,
right.
I mean, I just want to say shout out to Trish Flaster who
Fish.
who
Thank you
joined
so
us.
much.
Yes. Thank you. She really was incredibly inspiring. And so we chatted with her 2 episodes ago.
2 episodes ago, yeah.
So that was really, really cool. If you'd like to get
Yes.
her perspective, she's been working in the industry for the
Decades.
70s. Yeah.
Since since the
Yeah.
70s. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was just an incredible
She has the answers.
connector of, all the
Mhm.
dots, really.
Yeah, and I feel really lucky because I think for us, it took Trish was one person away. We were introduced to Trish through Carrie Hughes, who is somebody that also graduated from the Berkeley Herbal Center, who is a client of ours and also where I went to school for herbalism. So we were really only like one introduction away from that. But if you were somebody that woke up one morning and felt the urge of like building a sustainable business and then like got the wild hair in your ass to start looking for sourcing, like where would you go to find a Trish? It would be so difficult to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that I think, yeah, I feel really grateful that we were able to have that meeting and to have that introduction, because I don't think that everybody does, and I don't think that small brand owners do. And I think that like one of the main issues here is if we're going to take sustainability mainstream, which is one of our main goals, then people that don't like hang out with crunchy herbalists need to also be able to have access to this sort of resource.
Right.
And they don't right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I mean, that was a really, really lucky introduction. And yeah, it was,
Yeah.
um, and I do think that herbal schools are a fantastic resource also because there
Yes.
are so many alumni. And I think we can continue to shout out Berkeley Herbal Center. They're an incredible place, incredible school if you want to learn about herbal medicine.
Anything. Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
PhD is great. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, um, and they do a lot of work to help herbalists create businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a really cool, alumni network there of herbalists who
Yeah.
now have their own businesses. And that's really, yeah. And you can go so many different directions with that herbal knowledge.
Oh man. Yeah. And even like I graduated from there, and like this is my apothecary in my background. I'm really excited. I think this is the
Oh, wait.
first podcast that
Yeah.
I've had a new
Okay.
background, and you have a new background too.
Kind of,
Um,
yeah. It was like 2 episodes ago, kind of just a shift in viewpoint. You're just over here now versus there.
oh, I see. I see.
But that's
Well,
that's my couch. I don't ever sit on it. It's my little.
I'm really jealous that you have a couch in your office, though. I want one really bad.
I wonder if people think that this is my whole home because I always am in this room. It's not.
Not.
But believe
She's
it
just
to
one of
your
them cool bitches with the couch in her office. It's fine.
couch in my office if I want. I literally don't ever sit on it, but I just didn't have the heart to get rid of this.
I would get like an ottoman and
Mm,
like a little side table for like putting those
yeah.
days when you don't really feel like it, but you like could have some like chill shit to do.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was the thought essentially behind putting it in there. I was like, what
Yeah.
if I just don't need two screens and I just want to do something really like low key? I could just sit back and relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I definitely have days like that. I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I could
Yeah.
also just go to our other couch. We have another.
Yeah, but then there's like a dude there.
Not in my experience. No, I'm lucky that my boyfriend works a job that isn't from home
Yeah, that's true.
throughout the pandemic.
Okay.
throughout
Fair,
the,
fair, fair, fair.
but like yeah, that didn't change. But
Yeah, but also the energy of an office is so different than the energy of a living room.
that is true. That is true. Yeah.
You
Major.
like still have the like space. This is totally off topic, but you still have the like space
This
of
is the
like the
source
chill.
of our work. So what is about
Yeah.
source?
Um, what were you talking about before? Oh, Berkeley Herbal Center.
Yes. Yeah.
They're wonderful. Like even like I'm a certified herbalist, I use what I learn every day when I work with our clients and know how to talk to them, know how to offer like help, even like they teach you how to know what somebody actually needs, but not shove it in their face or shove it in their face when they really need to hear it. Like it's
No.
yeah. Shout out to BHC anyway, and Courtney's couch.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, and I'm not a certified herbalist, but I've had the privilege of viewing some of their classes that they have online, and I've absolutely loved it. And they definitely have some stuff that you know is really beginner friendly. So that has been really fun
Yeah.
too. And yeah,
BerkeleyHerbalCenter.org.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And if you like their website, then great, because we built it.
Sure
So
did. If you like the content, then great, because we make it.
so if that's your vibe, hit us up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anywho, yeah, I think really we're just ultimately want to kind of just start off this wrap up by saying Trish was an incredible resource and really changed the entire course of our research into this topic.
Totally.
Speaking to her, we felt so much more like uplifted and like so much more hopeful that, you know, that there were these answers out there for small business owners. So
yeah, and if you go to that, you can see she gave us like so many sources.
mm-hmm.
I'm going to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sources to go look for stuff, whether it's ingredients, information, a network, nonprofits that just offer education about what you might need. Like go just listen to that just because it is so inspiring.
Yeah, that's
And
sourcing part 2.
I think it's just called Sourcing Changemaker Chat, Trish Flaster.
Yep.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
can also find her at botanicalliaisons.com, which is like a medium sexy plant thing and like a very awesome URL. Good job.
Yeah, really cool name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that really we left that chat with Trish like feeling super, super inspired. So that was so incredible. And then literally like the next day, we stumble upon a book that was about to be released by Dr. Bronners, or
Big
at
deal.
least the doctor.
Oh yeah, I got my Dr. Brunner shirt on today.
You do.
It says "Fight for the planet."
Fight for the planet.
Yeah.
Right on.
I approve that message.
Yeah. So that was last episode. We went all into that book and what that book taught us. But it was just like really kind of, I don't know, I think I used the term serendipitous, and I will again, because it was just kind of remarkable how it kind of fell in our laps, really. That
really
book
did.
was perfect for exactly what we wanted to learn.
Yeah, how to do it. How to create a supply chain that is traceable and sustainable and like fair trade and safe for everybody along the whole chain. And they really walked you through it over and over again. That was kind of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And also what came out of that was kind of the answer to the certifications, the global certifications that we can trust. One of the questions we had in the first episode was what to look for. What certifications should we try to find? Who should we trust? Because that's one thing that is super hard in this industry is what certifications can we even trust? We had Demeter listed. I've since looked into Demeter. Like, I'm really into that. If you can get Demeter certified, please do. They're wonderful. It's really difficult to figure out how to do that, though, through their website. It's not easy.
Yeah, they certify biodynamic farms and products.
Yeah, and they also certify biodynamic food. Yeah, like you can buy like a Demeter bread or
so like
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Food products.
Yes. Okay.
But like but it's hard to understand. Whereas like Fair for Life, which is what we learned through Honor Thy Label from Dr. Bronner, is really simple. Their website is maybe even overly simple on Fair for Life, but they walk you through the steps. They tell you what the steps are. They tell you how to get certified, what you need to do, and it's helpful, and it's really strict.
Yeah.
And that was something that, like, they made the point in Honor Thy Label, which I don't think we talked about last week, that sometimes when there is a certification, and they're not very strict on their rules. Like, I think he used Rainforest Alliance, not to call out the Rainforest Alliance, but I think that Honor Thy Label, that Gero did, called out Rainforest Alliance, because sometimes they will kind of let people fudge the results. Or that was the experience that they had and why they wanted to go with Fair for Life.
Interesting. Yeah. Or my understanding was that it was like Fair for Life is just sort of more holistic. Like it was not just so singularly focused, I guess, that because when a certification is so singularly focused on one thing, it's sort of like, okay, well, but how are people being treated? Are people being paid? Like there are other kind of maybe societal aspects or economic aspects that might be missed that are still within our definition of sustainable. But
Totally.
we recognize that's not, that definition to many people is only environmentally sustainable.
Right. They're not inclusive
Right.
or
Yeah.
like ethical in the way that they treat people, or fair trade. Yeah.
Because that term is subjective. It doesn't have a specific definition, and it is a buzzword right now. So I think that at least my understanding was that Fair for Life certainly is the most kind of well-rounded organization that offers certifications in fair trade. Ingredients, farms, products, brands, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you that they're more well-rounded. They're just also more strict. They don't fudge they like show up every year. They pay attention to all of the rules, and if you're not following those rules, they will help you follow them. And if you're hooked up with a brand that like Dr. Bronners, and you have a hard time meeting those types of expectations, those brands will help those companies and farms meet the expectations, because they want to source really good, like certified Fair for Life ingredients. So I thought that was really cool. Another huge takeaway this month for me between Trish and the book was was really treating people like team members.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the middlemen, unless you need a translator, and treat people like they're your team, and like give them what they need to do the job that you ask them to do.
Yeah. And have them have some sense of agency, like they can make some decisions about how they, how things are run. Like, I mean, within reason, obviously, but giving people a little bit more of the power back. I think it's like mutually beneficial. I mean, there's just like what, like, just treating humans like humans, and every person that is there working at your, your farm, where your products are being sourced.
Yeah.
They have individual lives, and I think it's just, we have to start thinking in that way if we want to build truly like ethical and sustainable businesses.
True. And honestly, it's a damn shame that we don't already think that way. Like for so many people, it is, and so many businesses, especially the big guns out there, it feels like extra money, big overhead to pay their farmers and to pay people for like their crops. But it's like, what? They have whole lives.
Yeah.
They're people. You're bitching about like an extra couple bucks per farmer per like week or day. Like when your your profit is massive. You see that a lot, but like
Mhm.
even if your profit isn't massive, like you for a business owner to feel like they shouldn't have to pay fair trade is cringeworthy to me. I think it's
Right.
disgusting. I think like what
Yeah.
the actual fuck is that, dude? Your life matters more than homeboy over there? Like, no.
All of it is so tied to how capitalism is rooted in exploitation and honestly white supremacy.
Yes.
Um, and yeah, I mean, it's mind blowing that fair trade isn't the standard, that we don't
Right.
just operate like as if everyone on the planet has an equal stake and can be an equal player
Right.
in how we're operating business. Um, yeah, it's
What?
it's insane. It's insane. And honestly, like companies have done a very, very good job at convincing us that that's just the way that it is. You know?
Right. Right. And to think that like it's like this is such a like a light bulb of a thought of why don't we already work that way?
Yeah.
That's like a light bulb that has to go off in your head because it's so ingrained that, oh, we just take advantage of people in other developing parts of the world,
Like
and
them.
that's how we build a business. That seems fine.
At some point, someone did have to make that decision,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
And
that had to be normalized somehow.
I mean, and it was during a time where, yeah, I mean, slavery was just fair game, like that. It's such a just an antiquated system that is so entirely based on profits over people. And it's just kind of mind blowing. The more
Yep.
that you're like, wait, why are there so many businesses that are cool with operating this way?
Yeah.
What's happening here?
Right. Why does the US government have to sue Hershey's and Mars and these other massive chocolate brands over the child slavery that they like knowingly let continue and like
Yeah.
make billions? You
Yeah.
know, Nestle also, these are billion-dollar
Mhm.
corporations.
Right. But like those corporations will do their damnedest at convincing consumers that like it's in our best interest to continue to support the way that it is because we don't want to pay an extra couple bucks per chocolate bar, huh?
Yes, I
Like,
fucking do.
but like,
Yes, I fucking
yeah, and
do.
it's also just sort
Yeah.
of like, okay, maybe that extra couple bucks could come off of the millions of dollars of profits that you make as the CEO, dude. Like,
Like, do
come,
you really have to pass that on? Do you?
right. It's like, no, you fucking don't. You
Right.
actually do not have to be like,
Right.
no. And oh my gosh, yeah, it's
Also, I'm like super down to pay, and most other people are too, actually. Like,
yeah.
so says data of
Yeah.
paying the true cost of things. Like,
Yeah,
you
it's
know, and
true.
if we all paid the true cost of things and we all made a living wage, it would be fine.
But
That's
then
the other piece,
billionaires,
right?
but what about the billionaires, though?
There shouldn't be any motherfucking billionaires.
They're really, I mean,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm not
no,
sorry. I'm
no.
not sorry. There shouldn't, though. Like, why?
I mean, if
What's
you
the
can make $1 billion in profit ethically, then do it. But like,
please?
I don't think any of the current billionaires have gotten to that place without the exploitation of someone in their supply chain. I'm
Right.
inclined to say none. I mean, like, I think that that's actually fucking prove me wrong in the comments if you want to do it. But,
Please.
um, like, yeah, I fully agree. Yeah, I think that I don't think it's necessary if someone is being, if any aspect of your supply chain relies on someone being underpaid, overworked, or exploited, no one should make a profit. Also,
Right.
like, how does both of those things happen?
Right.
It shouldn't. And
It shouldn't. And you can totally make a profit by operating ethically.
absolutely, absolutely. Oh, yeah. We're not saying don't make a profit as a
But that's
business.
like another light bulb for people. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh,
There's a
wait.
way to do that? Oh.
Oh, right. Yeah, that like right, that just we've been conditioned to think that this is the only way, and it's
Right.
not. It is
It's absolutely not.
no.
No. And I think Bronners does a really good job that Gero Leson was his name. I'm probably not
Liaison.
saying Leson. I'm
Uh-huh.
not saying that right. Um, but he does a really good job showing how to do it in the Honor Thy Label book, and it was really exciting. Um, it's never easy, and I think that's another part of this. It's a lot easier to exploit people than it is that actually it's a lot easier to exploit people than it is to just pay them and make sure that their farm and their yield is up and that everything is working. It's a lot easier to just say fucking whatever, cut down the land and make and add more if your yield is down,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
And or I'm not going to pay you for less. Also, it's a lot easier to say that than it is to show up, give them what they need, supply, anywhere from sanitary situations or just bathrooms
Yeah.
to like a tool that makes it easier to get the work done faster, or fertilizer
Education,
or
right?
education. Yeah, it's so hard to do that.
Right. I mean, it does take more upfront work. Yeah, especially if you are trying, like what they were doing was going to places that were traditional farming, that were utilizing traditional farming practices, have like pesticide use and all that. And we're trying to show them and teach them the benefits of regenerative organic farming,
Right.
which is a big step. That is a big step. And
Huge
that's
step.
really, really hard. But like, not every business has to do all that. Like, just because you want to source
Right.
organically and fair trade, you don't have to be the one that's paving the way. Like, it's incredible that Bronners put in
But in
that
some
effort.
cases, if but, unfortunately, we're still in a situation where in a lot of cases that is still the reality,
Yeah.
that there isn't a viable fair trade organic supply chain out there for every ingredient, and
Yeah.
that somebody has to step up and make that supply chain.
Hmm.
And that sucks, but it's also available, like with people that have paved the way, people like change makers like Trish, and we have another, and then Carrie Hughes, who I talked about earlier, who's a formulator, and like supply side, and Fair for Life and Dr. Bronner's, like all of these places are there to help you pave the way. They know how to ask the questions that you need to ask,
Yeah.
and they're there to help. You have to find them, but they're there for you. And once you're plugged into that network, creating that supply chain isn't nearly as difficult as doing it by yourself. And it's definitely possible.
Very true. Yeah. That's really well said. Yeah. Like, that, yeah, I mean, things might not be immediately available, and it does, yeah, it requires a lot of research and knowing what types of questions to ask. I think that's a huge part. That's definitely something that
Hmm.
that Trish mentioned quite a bit, was that like
Yeah.
you have to, when you're starting to communicate
Yeah.
with a new potential source, you have to ask really poignant, really, really I guess, just specific and direct questions.
In multiple ways,
Yeah,
is what she said. Yeah.
just to be sure that
Hmm.
that it's a trustworthy source. Um,
Yeah, she mentioned that even there's somebody that she's been working with for 10 years or something, and she still has to ask the question in several different ways. And then, and she kind of just got a vibe that she told a story how she got a vibe one time. They weren't connecting right. So
mhm.
she sent him a video phone, which I thought was really interesting. She's like, rather than heading over there, we decided to send video phones, which was like a huge part of
Or just
it,
like a
a huge
smartphone,
deal.
right? Yeah.
Smartphone, yeah.
Yeah.
Video phone, like
Like,
freaking
what the hell
old.
is that?
Sorry. Um, and they showed her what they've been doing, and she realized that like it wasn't what she was right. Her vibe was right. That like in all of the questions, he had answered all of the questions right, but she wasn't necessarily clear enough or asking those right questions to get the it was like she wanted the root, but they were giving the bark or something like that,
Hmm.
for a specific ingredient. So
Yeah.
super interesting.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, so it's, I think that that was a really, really good solution for places that may have a language barrier, where
yeah,
it's just video it. Yeah. Send me a picture, or just film the
yeah,
entire process. And I just want,
yeah.
and then
Yeah,
the,
but you might have to do that stuff, you know? Like if you're building a supply chain, if I wanted to have a supply chain right now for like even like turmeric, I'm sure I could find it really fast now that I have these resources, but I would feel compelled to like go where it was being grown and see what their field looked like and how they were harvesting it, and could they do it better? Could they add dynamic agroforestry to this space? Like what could be better, you know? And how could I help them get better? I think is how we need to like
mm,
move our mind towards it's weird. Dr. Bronner, we just got a notification from Dr. Bronner's. Dude,
they just
they're
liked our photo.
they're so like
How do they know?
how do they know? So much to Dr. Bronner's serendipity. Just
Love
like
you, Brian.
love you, Dr. Bronner's.
That's why
I
that
totally
was funny that we both got that notification. We both like looked at our phone like, oh, I know that name. Like what?
hi.
That's a big
First
name.
off, that's a big deal, but also like hi, we're just like are you like wiggling in your ear?
I know.
You want to come on the living brand directory? Hi, we'll have you. Um,
Or on this podcast.
or on
Hey.
this podcast. Hey.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
that would actually be so cool.
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
mean, it could
Stay tuned.
happen. It could happen
It
someday.
could
Yes.
happen.
Anything is possible. But
Everything. We are all one.
and as um, but yeah, I mean, you were saying.
I don't know. I totally lost my train of thought. I got excited.
I did a little bit too. Wait, let's
Anyway.
retrace our steps. Oh, you were talking about your
Oh,
if you were to source something, you would still want to go there and
yeah. I would still. I think like oh, we need to switch our mindset to start thinking about how can I help
yeah.
my source rather than how can I get is like sort of like how can I help? What can I do? And if your product has a billion sources in it or has a billion ingredients in it, like maybe take a look at that. If you can't, you know,
Yeah.
maybe you work with a co-packer and that co-packer has a program where they work with sourcing. You know, that just make sure that what you're doing the entire along your entire supply chain stays like ethical.
Right.
It's a challenge, but you should do it. And you should also share that with your as oh yeah, the marketing part. Share that with your customers because they want to know.
They
And shout
do.
out to Alero for sharing that they are climate positive. We're gonna shout them out next week also, but officially
Hmm.
they're on the Living Brand Directory. They're climate positive now, and you know what they did? They shared the report in
Right.
their marketing. Good
It's,
job.
I mean, yeah, I think that that's definitely a shift in consumer behavior over the recent years, is that like consumers are getting much more educated about this stuff and they care about it and they want to know what you're doing and that you're putting your money where your mouth is. And
Yes.
so, yeah, like, right, send your farm a cell phone if they they can take pictures, they can take videos, and you can use that in your marketing. I mean, it might not be the like greatest quality, but like it's still really cool that you would
It's really
have
cool.
something direct from the source. Like that would still be something that would be a
Hmm.
really nice differentiator that would really show
Yep.
your audience and potential customers that you mean what you say and you're not
Yeah.
talk. And
And including a farm into just from personal experience or like working, including a farm in your regular marketing, really talking to somebody on the team and saying, "Hi, so the farm is beautiful like 365 days a year because you work on a farm, especially if it's like a an organic farm or a regenerative, like biodynamic farms are gorgeous all year around. They just freaking are. Send them a phone. Send
yeah.
them, it's like, just do it because it's beautiful every day. Even if it's a little blurry, like in the beginning, it doesn't matter because posting and saying, hey, this is what's happening on our farm this week. This is
Hmm.
what it looks like right now is so nice for your customers, but it's
Oh,
also really nice for your farmers. If you're like,
yeah.
hey, go outside one day a week and take 3 pictures and send them to me, just walk out your, just like a lot of times in these biodynamic farms, people live on them. So they'll like, just walk out your door and take some pictures.
Right.
Like,
Photo from a farmer. Oh my God. I would love that as a series from literally any brand. Like
yes,
that's so cool.
please
And
do that.
then you're not only, yeah, then you're giving them a source of pride. Like they're no longer this like weird hidden part of your business.
Right.
Like, no,
Yeah.
no, they're the direct root
Mm-hmm.
source of your business. You wouldn't have a product without them. Like,
No.
show them some love. Like, yes, I mean,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Go talk to
disconnect.
your farmers.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just that's a big shift in sustainable brand marketing. Is no longer hiding really any aspect of your business. Like
No.
just can't. It just shouldn't happen. There's just no need. Yeah, like
It's also so much easier. Here's the other piece that is like makes no sense to me why we keep this stuff hidden except for like Hershey and Mars and those assholes like and Nestle. Call fuck Nestle because they are the one of the top 3
plastic.
polluters in the world
Yes, they are.
and plastic creators, yeah.
Yeah.
Um just don't use Nestle products. Anyway, like it's so easy when you have a transparent and traceable supply chain to create content. And sustainable marketing, sustainable brands need sustainable marketing. Sharing pieces of your supply chain on a regular basis just gives you like marketing fodder everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
People care about that stuff. And also it's really common for a sustainable brand, especially if you're a supplement or if you affect the body in any way, it's difficult to run ads.
Yeah.
So consistent content is absolutely necessary. You can't not post because you can't send people to your site by paying for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Mm-hmm.
need to be posting. And the more you post about like your farmer and the carrier that like brings your farm and your formulator and like all of these stuff. It just gives you so much more content. It's
Yeah,
so great to be able to use that stuff. It
absolutely.
makes your life easier. Just make your life easier.
Yeah, there's really like no downside. Yeah, because your
No,
customers want to see it too. Like that behind the scenes look is so
it feels
cool. And
gossipy in like the best way.
it's so cool. It's the way of the future, man. Like really, it really is. And I think we'll only see that growing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, it just that sort of stuff allows for you to be in complete control of the narrative around your brand, how people are
Yep.
really viewing it. You're not leaving anything up for interpretation. Like
Right.
you're putting it all out there, and
Right. You're protecting yourself also,
mhm,
you know?
yeah,
You're like, well, you know everything I know is a really good way to be.
yeah,
Is to be traceable and honest.
yeah, yeah. Just transparency all day, every day.
Day, every day.
I love it, man. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, what
it's
are
really
questions?
cool.
We didn't, yeah, we really answered all of our questions.
Hmm.
Certifications, Fair for Life is
Fair
our
for
thing.
life.
Fair for Life. How do small businesses navigate this world? You can check out Fair for Life. Join supply side 365.com. It's a network. Highly recommended.
Yeah, they do
And
cool
then
events. They
really
just
cool
cool
events.
cool
Yeah, I
email
signed up for
newsletter.
one. I might have to miss a meeting next week because I signed up for one.
Oh,
Um,
cool. Yeah. Yeah,
yeah, they
it's like
are
industry level stuff.
industry level stuff
Yeah.
and also a massive network.
Yep.
Yeah, and then a lot of the other ones we have are like Omni Actives. They help you bring safe products to the market, and they have a bunch of really cool like supplemental things that are plant based that you can add. Um, supply ssciglobal.com is another really nice one that I looked
Mhm.
into because they look at standards on a global level, so they can help you know if you're compliant like globally with your supplement safety
Very
and like
cool.
what you need to put on your label and that kind of stuff is really important.
Yeah, yeah. Labeling, very important.
Yeah, really soon we're gonna have a FDA like US document coming out about this. Also, I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, what natural brands can and can't say in their marketing.
Yeah.
Oh, FDA regulations are a real thing to be
A
concerned
real
about.
deal.
Real
Yeah,
deal. Yeah,
a
real
real deal, boy.
stuff
They
to
can
deal
shut
with.
you down. So, yeah, that's something
Yeah, it's an
to look
interesting thing to
forward to.
navigate. Yeah. Um,
Yeah, this whole space is like sustainable business owners and natural brands like really just chose the hardest route. I hate to say it. We're in the same boat as you. We deal with these problems day in and day out. Also, like it's
mhm.
really like the world is not set up for this type of growth, unfortunately.
Yet.
So yet. So it is difficult to pave the way for the
Mm.
sustainable industry. But it's getting better. There's networks. There are people out there that will help you, that want to help you, that will show up. We're two of them right here. It's
Yeah.
really exciting.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Reach out if you have any questions about like any aspect of
Yeah.
creating a natural product brand.
Yeah. If we don't know, we know where to direct you.
Mhm.
So we can definitely get you in the right direction.
Moving and shaking. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
And if you really like this content or you really just want to learn more stuff about our investigations, you should subscribe. Subscribe.
Yes, please do. We would really, really appreciate it. Yeah, you can also follow us on Instagram. We're dandelion_branding,
Yeah.
dandelionbranding.com,
Ooh,
living
on
brand.
Twitter.
Oh my gosh, yeah, go for it.
I love Twitter. That's me on Twitter. It's _ the living brand.
Livingbranddirectory.com is our sister business.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is our jam. So
Yeah.
it's been
We're
really,
easy to find.
yeah.
Not hard.
Yeah. What an interesting process, right? We came into this, no hope.
We were so sad after after we talked about deforestation. We were like, the world's fucked.
And it's not.
Like, it's not, but like there is hope
Yeah.
in this sector.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And I think next month we're going to talk about energy. Question mark about what exactly that means right now,
I
but
think,
fossil fuels
yeah, green
and
energy. Yeah.
and green energy and the
Mm-hmm.
shift. And like I have some questions there, so I'm really excited to do a deep dive there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's sort of like the next step here is like, okay, we're trying to sort of understand these global
Right.
issues and fossil fuels is of course a huge one, and just kind of better understanding
Yep.
what role they play now, and like obviously their history as well. Like, that will be a
Mm-hmm.
trip. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, what moving forward, like I guess I'm more
What it means to move forward. I have a
mm-hmm.
lot of questions around like solar. I have a lot of
Yeah,
questions around the batteries for that and also wind
yeah.
energy. Hooking up to the grid. You know who we could maybe talk to for a changemaker chat is Tom.
You mentioned this. Yes, I think that is a good one. This might be one where we also talk to a couple different change makers just because there is so many different facets of this topic.
Yeah.
Honestly, we might even be able to separate fossil fuels and green energy as two separate topics,
Maybe
but
we could do
we'll get there.
we could do 2 months on energy.
Hmm.
It might be worth it.
I think it might, yeah, just like kind of understanding the what's currently happening with the fossil fuel industry in particular, and just, yeah, I want to better understand how we in the logistics between how we as a society can move past reliance on that so
Yeah, how do
much.
we make that transition? I
Mm-hmm.
have some inkling of an idea because of Tom
Mm-hmm.
and also just like trying to get off gas at our house. But even just trying to get off gas at our house is like proving to be actually like really big, challenging long-term plan rather than the like flip the switch plan that I'm hoping for. So
Mm-hmm.
that's been an interesting way to learn. So I think that's a good idea is to just do fossil fuels next
Yeah.
month and then maybe green energy the following and try to
Mm-hmm.
bridge the gap there.
Totally. Yeah. 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 They're
Look at us. We have 2 months planned.
deep. Look at that. Yeah, that's how we do it, everybody.
This is how we have. Welcome to Dandelion Branding. This is how we make plans.
Kinda. Kinda. So yeah, I mean, we're in control here. We steer the ship, and
Do we?
sometimes sometimes we try. Waves can be big and powerful, but
That's the quote of the day. Waves can be big.
it's funny because neither of us like big water. We're not big water people. Yeah.
No, fuck that. There's so many monsters in there. What even is that? What
Yeah.
idea? Whose idea was it to go in there?
Yeah, I live like very close to the beach, and it terrifies me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's freaky. I don't know.
Yeah,
Big boats
scary.
scare me. Scary. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, yeah. So, anywho,
Yeah. Anyways, big water fears aside, we are
yeah,
steering the ship. Things are happening. We're talking about energy.
are taking on big fossil fuels, man. Yeah.
I'm ready for the call outs. I'm
I
ready.
feel like,
I'm excited to dig into like specifics like Chevron
yeah. I mean, yeah, some people dedicate their whole
lives.
lives to like documenting the atrocities of
Yeah.
big oil,
But
because
it's
it's
the same for
everywhere.
every one of these.
Yeah.
Every one of these topics and every like facet of these topics, people are dedicating their whole lives to like understanding them, and we just get to be lucky enough to like gleam the surface and the most interesting pieces and like talk shit about them.
Hmm. Yeah, and try to come up with solutions, I suppose. Try to
Yeah.
move things in a positive light, and from our perspective, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting period of time.
I'm super
The next
excited.
couple weeks. Yeah.
And we moved to Libro, right? The
Yes. Yes.
That's what it is.
I believe so. Yes. We moved
Um,
away from using Audible. We used to get our books that we
yes.
would use in research phase um, from Audible, but then we were like, fuck Amazon.
Yeah, fuck that.
Fuck
So now
Amazon.
we're using Libro.
Libro FM, I think it is.
Yeah, Libro. Yeah, Libro.fm. Yes.
Hmm.
I keep forgetting the name and then feeling like an asshole. But
We did
I
forget
decided.
it last week when we mentioned it, and I guess by we I mean me. But
No,
we
also
I
me
brought it up.
and also but also I forgot it again. But now I've decided to remember it by remembering that you and I are both dating Libras.
Ah, yes, this is true.
Yeah,
Libra FM.
Libra. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it's a really, really cool platform. I mentioned it last week, but it's worth another shout out. It's almost identical, if not completely identical to Audible in terms of pricing. But a portion of their profits go to small bookstores, local bookstores. Super cool.
Yes. Which is great.
Love that. Yeah,
I
yeah.
would love to go to a used bookstore in English, a used bookstore in English.
Mm-hmm.
In English.
Green Apple Books in San Francisco, I loved so much. That was like one of my favorite places. I love that bookstore.
I'm trying to hit up a bookstore.
Mm.
Like as soon as things come back open, I'm gonna go to Amsterdam. There's a bookstore there that has English stuff.
Mm. Yes.
Anyway,
Anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. And yes,
no.
like and subscribe to follow us along on this journey and
Yes.
dive into
And
some.
have a beautiful day.
Yeah. All right. Bye.